I'm going to walk around the stage and talk to you about selling jewelry on Instagram, one of my favorite topics to talk about. Because I started my Instagram pretty much at the very beginning of the platform in 2012. And since then, it changed a lot. You guys, I'm sure, experience yourself that every couple of months there is something new on Instagram, the algorithm changes, it ruins your perfect performance of Instagram. It feels like you have to start again. But nevertheless, we're still there. We're still trying our best to sell jewelry, to present jewelry to our audience, to inspire women out there to own and wear all these beautiful designs you create. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about me, but first I want to know, so guys, raise your hand if you're a jewelry brand, if you're a marketing person in a jewelry company or jewelry designer. And do you guys focus on selling jewelry on Instagram? Okay, perfect. And one more thing about me, I love it when it's an interaction. So I'll tell you things from my end, but I would love for you to ask questions. And if you have some question during the conversation, not at the very end, you're still welcome to raise your hand and ask me questions there and then. Now, a little maintenance. Where is the clicker to change the, the slides? This? Perfect. Okay. So guys, actually, do you follow me on Instagram? Raise your hand if you do. So okay, amazing, great. So you must be familiar with my work. I started writing about jewelry and gemstones 12 years ago, and I was the first to put high jewelry on social media because I wanted to speak about jewelry to the whole world. And what was the best way as to go online and reach all those jewelry aficionados all across the world? As all of you, I started my Instagram from nothing. So I didn't know how Instagram functions, but I liked the visual part of it. And you must agree that for jewelry, visuals is key. So I started posting some content without any specific direction. But slowly, I was focusing on jewelry more and more. And then I was focusing more on high-end jewelry because actually my family are artists. And for me, jewelry is my form of art. So that's why I focused only on high jewelry, all the beautiful gemstones and metals and design. So slowly I saw the huge growth on Instagram, how people perceive jewelry, how they really enjoy what they see. And this really motivated me to continue. So now, 12 years later, I'm standing here and I want to share with you my experience of how we can actually sell jewelry on Instagram. I remember in the beginning of my career when I was sharing all the beautiful designs, people were telling me, well, you show something expensive, like why would people buy it, especially on Instagram? You know, this kind of jewelry doesn't sell. But being very consistent in my work and believing in my vision, I proved them wrong. So for 12 years, I've been running Katerina Perez and I have made some really good sales. However, we need to keep in mind that Instagram is not a selling platform. So people don't go on Instagram with the idea to buy. They go on Instagram to chill, to talk with friends, to get some inspirations, to see some funny clips. And when they see something they enjoy, that sparks the idea, okay, maybe I want to own it. With jewelry, there is an added layer of difficulty because jewelry is an expensive product. So again, even if we see some jewelry and fall in love with it, it doesn't mean we can buy it right away. But there are ways to inspire your audience to buy jewelry. Now, first of all, I want to speak why is Instagram a great platform. I often get asked, what are other platforms there are to sell jewelry online? Obviously, online boutiques. But in terms of social media, Instagram is still #1. Why? Because it's very visual, it's a little bit more glamorous than other social media, it's less heavy on different advertisements, different details. You know, you see the picture, you see the comments, it's very easy to perceive. And also it's very, let's call it, it's more secure or a little bit more discreet than others. You can have an anonymous account and still follow your favorite designers and be kind of behind the scenes, but still enjoy the content. Now, what I was saying in the beginning and what I want to emphasize is that don't expect to have jewelry being constantly sold online because it's a very different platform. On Instagram, people don't buy from brands, they come to buy from other people. So it's not B2B, not B2C, it's so-called P2P platform. So the more there is the personal presence, the more there is you in your Instagram, the more there is stronger bond with your audience and people are more comfortable to ask you questions, to buy from you, to understand your personality, to get inspired by your designs and consequently to buy. Also, of course, Instagram is a visual platform, so the more beautiful the content is, the better those gems sparkle, and the more you show the variety of your designs, the inspirations, the elements, the techniques, the more you let the person get into your world, the more they're willing to get to know you and consequently buy. Also, jewelry is not necessity. We must agree with that, right? We don't need to wear jewelry to go out in the cold weather. We don't need jewelry to survive every day. We need it for our, I call it, it's food for your soul. We eat every day for our body, but we need beauty around us to feed our soul. So this is what jewelry is, and this is why people gravitate towards having those beautiful designs in their jewelry box, because of the emotional value of them. So on Instagram, we always have to try our best to evoke emotions in our audience. Let it be through your reels, through telling your story, through showing the designs, talking about inspirations, the difficulty of making jewelry, educating them about jewelry, and so on. And also, jewelry is rarely spontaneous purchase. Often, as I said, we see something, we fall in love with it, we want to have it right away. So this is the willingness to buy, but then the rational thinking kicks in, and we start evaluating, oh, how much it is, and can I afford it, or is it the right purchase for now, and so on. So that's why you need to stir so many emotions in your audience that they're like, right, we need it right now, it's not an option, we have to send a DM and request the price and all the necessary information. So don't only measure your Instagram success based on how much you sell, because Instagram is more of a platform to meet people, as I say, and to kind of get to know your audience. It's a place where you meet the potential client. But not just that. Also, in my experience, very often, how does a sale happen on Instagram? As a jeweler or a designer, your jewelry can be featured, for example, on my Instagram, and then someone discovers it and buys it. It can be featured by a journalist, and then they would put it on a magazine, and someone would discover it on a magazine and buy it. Another option can be, for example, on your Instagram, a jewelry exhibition discovers you, and then you come to the exhibition, and this is where you sell your jewelry. So Instagram is not a directly selling platform. It's more a place to make the right connections. So keep it in mind. So now I want to talk about 10 steps on how I can help you to convert your Instagram into a more selling platform. And the first one, of course, when a person comes to your Instagram, what do they see there first? Think or review your Instagram. Actually, if you can, take out your phones just to have a quick glance at your account, as if you came to your account for the first time. How do you feel about it? Have a look now. So people can discover your account through word of mouth. People can discover your account in Explore section. People can discover your account through advertisement. They can do it through maybe a comment you left under someone else's post. Maybe you put your account on your email signature and so on. There's various ways how can audience discover you. So what's important is to make sure you capture their attention in the very first few seconds. Nowadays, there is a wealth of jewelers out there on Instagram. When I started, it wasn't the case, but now, sadly, there is so many different people who showcase their jewelry that you need to find ways to grab attention of that person right away and encourage them to press that follow button. So, as I explained, there is many different ways to discover your Instagram, and when they see, they look at avatar, they look at your bio. So how does it work? They see your Instagram avatar, bio, then they go to see the highlights, then they go and see your content. And these are all, as I call them, or as marketing specialists call them, different touch points of your audience. What are touch points? It's anywhere where the audience can see you and form an opinion about you. So this is why it's so important to really focus on all aspects on your Instagram. The visual one, the communication one, like comments, DMs and your replies. It can also be the frequency of your posts to showcase to your audience that you are taking this platform seriously, you're dedicated, you are really putting lots of effort into it. And from all these little elements, they're actually forming opinion about you, and equally they're forming opinion, do we want to shop here? Is this the brand or the designer that we like? Do they put a lot of effort in the creating their jewelry? Is it quality, what we see here? So this is like little points for you also for kind of your homework. So first thing you'll do when you go back, review your account as if you're a new user. Are you happy with everything you see on your account? The avatar, the bio, the highlights, are they all there? Do you have covers on your highlights, or is it some random pictures there? Is it very easy to find information on your Instagram? Then you go to review your touch points because they make an impression about you for those people who follow you. What are those touch points? Avatar, account handle, your bio, covers, your posts, the captions in the posts, the comments, reels and DMs, and your stories, of course, too. Once you've reviewed it from the perspective of a new follower, check your content. And what do I mean by that? If your Instagram is visually appealing, there is more guarantee that the person would want to stay. Because as I said, not just with jewelry, but also with beautiful Instagram accounts, we want to nourish our soul with something beautiful every day. This is also one of the reasons why I personally focused on high-end jewelry. And I am very, very particular about the quality of my videos and my photos. For me, it's important that the stones shine, that they show the true color, that they're showed in a beautiful environment. I mean, as much as I can create beautiful environment at exhibitions, for you guys it's easier. You can hire studios and create something truly beautiful. I also think of color combinations in the post, right? So that everything looks in harmony. So when you plan photo shoots, it's much easier to achieve. And I want to show you two examples. So all these accounts still exist. Believe me, there are still accounts out there that look like a catalog, that have white background picture, something completely uninspirational. When you fall to see these pages, does it really inspire you to buy? This looks a little bit old school in my opinion, and it doesn't say anything about the brand, it doesn't tell me anything apart from the product. And as I said, we don't go to Instagram only learn about novelties or only buy. Even if you have your existing clients on your Instagram, they would be fed up with seeing only selling posts where we have this product and that product. They want to be a part of your world. So they want to see much more than that. Here's Instagram accounts which have much broader information shared. Do you agree with me that, how do I go back? Okay, that these are more, let's say, you take more pleasure following this kind of accounts, right? When something that looks like a simple catalog. Okay. So why do I speak about having an attractive account? First of all of us want to grow our audience, and the more beautiful and varied content there is, the more followers we get every day, of course. It also helps to facilitate those sales. We have loyalty of the audience. When you put so much attention, when you put so much heart and soul in your content, of course it resonates with the audience. And subconsciously they understand, okay, here they mean quality, here they love what they do. And of course we would love to have jewelry from somebody who really enjoys the manufacturing process, the creative process, who has their work as a part of their life rather than just jewelry as product. Then, of course, having a beautiful account is your opportunity to shine and be ahead of your competition. It also helps to build trust between yourself and your audience. This is one of the most important things. No matter how beautiful your content is and how much you spend on beautiful photo shoots, if there is not enough trust between you and your audience, if they just discovered you on Instagram, for example, or if they don't feel that they understand what you're showing here, then there is less chances on selling jewelry. Because as I said here, we're building a kind of a relationship with our audience. I always say that my followers are not followers, they're my community. It's important for me to talk to them. It's important for me to understand their taste. It's important for me to ask them questions and give them the content that they are willing to see, as much as I want to show what I see at exhibitions or everywhere in the world of jewelry. Then also, of course, reduce number of returns. If your photography is beautiful and videography. The stones look the same color as in real life, they sparkle, they inspire, they create the desire to buy, there will be less people returning. And of course, easy navigation. As I said, when you review your account from the perspective of a new follower, if you see what you post and you go, whoa, what is going on here? Like there is just a mixture of just different pictures. I don't understand like what is the message behind all this, what is the style of this designer, what's the unique selling point and so on. If there is not instant understanding what the person is looking at, they will not follow. And you know, in my experience, I've learned that, okay, it's relatively easy to get new followers, but it's very hard to keep them stay with you. So this is why every day there is so much work on thinking what content can I bring to my audience to make them stay, to make them interested in jewelry, to make them discover novelties, to make them really understand jewelry from a different perspective, get inspired, and of course, eventually purchase what they see. Okay. Number 4, you need to know your target audience. Very often we create wonderful jewelry and we go there to share all the designs, but who do we do this for? For me, very early I understood how important it is to really understand who your target audience is. For me, it's jewelry lovers who appreciate high-end designs, those who buy jewelry for pleasure, but also for investment and for self-expression. It's those who really appreciate the design in jewelry. If you follow me, many of you raised your hands, you would see that I feature mostly jewelry based on design rather than just anything and everything out there. Because for me, it's important to understand how a designer gets inspired and imbues their heart and soul into their creation. So it's a mix between the what nature creates, like gemstones and metal, and also the human mind. So I really know my audience, but what I encourage you to do is not to think just, we want to attract everyone who loves jewelry. No, you need to really create in your mind the persona. Where does this person go to? What restaurants they go to? What are their hobbies? How do they travel? How do they dress? What are their favorite fashion designers? What do they do in their free time? So you don't just write the age and where they're coming from, the location, but you need to create a persona. Why? Because frankly, nowadays with jewelry being online, it's very easy to shop online. And trust me, people who bought jewelry from my Instagram or from e-commerce, like if some of you have e-commerce, you know, you might be placed here in Germany, but you might have lots of clients from America. Jewelry and online, they help to cross the borders. And of course, when you see something you love so much, and also the fact that jewelry is not like clothes, you know, you can't put a ring on and say it makes me fat, right? It always looks beautiful, so you can easily buy it online and make sure it fits really well. Okay, and then, of course, it's motivating to press that follow button. How do we do that? Okay, we talked about the bio. Now, guys, how often do you change your bio? Because what I recommend you do is you review that little few sentences which feel like we can put them there once and forget about them. When you have a new collection launch, adjust your bio to attract attention to it. Maybe add a call to action saying discover my new collection, and you can put a little emoji towards the link, little arrow to put the hyperlink to your website where you feature your new collection. Maybe you've created a gift guide. You can write it in your bio. Maybe you are working on something special, so you can update your bio. Guys, you know what I'm talking about, bio, right? Biography, the first few lines in your Instagram. You have to update it regularly. A couple of times a month could be good, but maybe once a month. Of course, you feature your unique selling point, how are you different from others, but also you can use those few lines to attract attention to what is happening in your company right now, what's important. Then I still see that with highlight covers, so this is where I have gems, jewels, and articles. Very often there's just random pictures, and they make it harder to really understand what those highlights about. As I said, the thing with Instagram, it's called Instagram. People form their opinion about you instantly. They make a decision instantly. Everything is so fast on Instagram. If in the first few seconds they're not interested, they don't like your account, they don't find what they're looking for, they're gonna leave without the follow. So creating visually appealing, and in this instance with highlights, creating covers for highlights allows them to navigate your Instagram easier and to understand faster what they're looking at. And the other thing I see often is that in highlights, you can scroll and scroll and scroll, and there's 15, 17, 20 highlights. No one's going to look through so many. Use this part of your Instagram as the menu on your website. Here you can showcase your latest collection. Here you showcase a little bit about yourself. You can use this to kind of elevate your brand and show the value of your brand through press mentions, or maybe red carpet or celebrity dressings. You can also use this space to write where your selling points are. So anything which is relevant to the most important information for making that sale, you can put it here. And stick to maybe like 6, 7 highlights, the maximum, not more than that, because otherwise, as I said, people are not going to scroll and try to find what they're looking for. Okay, the actual feed. I am very particular with Instagram feed. So the big difference what was in the beginning of Instagram and what I'm doing now is that in the past you just post by inspiration, right? You wake up and you share some picture, in our cases, jewelry, but without specific logic. And one day I looked at my Instagram and I'm like, this looks like a mixture of pictures. Like, what am I saying to my audience here? How can they even navigate it? How can they understand how to find the information they need? So what I started doing, and I started segmenting my posts by different themes. One week I might be posting about diamonds, another about colored gemstone, then it can be celestial designs or flowers or something like this. It doesn't have to be a week, it can be a section of 3 posts or 6 posts. And I recommend on your Instagram to exactly provide that easy navigation, to help people find the product they're looking for, to showcase your novelties, and especially to highlight high jewelry designs. Segment your feed with 3, 6, or 9 posts dedicated to a specific theme. And also keep in mind that when your audience is looking at your Instagram, they wake up, they open their phone, they see some posts. It's not that if I have 500,000 followers, 500,000 followers will see each of my posts. It doesn't work like that. Only a fraction, okay, 10, 15% of the audience would see it post at any given time. So if you have novelty or if you have a design you're proud of and you only show it once thinking it's enough, it's not, because you're only showing it to 15% of your audience. That's why I recommend that if you have a high jewelry piece or if you have special design, any kind of important communication point in your company, dedicate at least 3 different posts to it and post them at different times, different days and different times. There is also a thing like best time to post. I don't know if you monitor that, but it still exists. For me, I know if I post at 7 a.m. or 5 p.m. or 1 p.m., it will work. And I constantly stick to this time because I want my post to work. There is nothing more discouraging when you put so much heart and soul into creating content, and because of the wrong time to post, it gets so little reaction from the audience that you feel discouraged. So monitor that. And you have different tools. You have different apps that will help you understand the best time to post, including Instagram itself. Now, how many of you use Instagram analytics? Do you go to see your analytics on Instagram? Raise your hand if you do. Okay, 10% of the audience maybe? This is such a paramount thing to do, to understand what works on Instagram, what audience is there, when is the right time to post. So do study your Instagram analytics to actually have the proof of what is the best strategy for your Instagram and then act based on that. Another thing is, as I said, people don't come to your Instagram to shop at all. They come for inspirations, but then eventually they might buy. So when you only have one type of posts in your account, which is selling, we have new this, we have this ring, we have that ring and necklace, it becomes a little bit repetitive, even though you're showing different kind of jewelry. People come here for other kind of information too. And even if you're a jewelry designer or jewelry brand, it doesn't mean you can't talk about some historical important moments, some important women who influenced history of jewelry, or men. It can be different areas in jewelry. You can use your Instagram to educate your audience, to make them understand jewelry better. Because I learned it from the very early time when I started my Instagram. The more people understand what they're looking at, the more they feel comfortable in buying jewelry. And this is actually the reason my mission is to educate and inspire and make women more comfortable with jewelry, to make them feel like they want to have it as a part of their wardrobe on a daily basis. And I would love for you to help me in this mission and do the same with your jewelry. So stick to a variety. In variety, I mean there is 3 main types of posts you can do. One is selling, and this is what I'm sure you do mostly, when you showcase your novelties, when you showcase your latest collections, when you're showcasing a gift guide, when you're showcasing anything related to your product. Then there is informative posts. And I hope you guys do that because it's posts focused on educating your audience. But you don't just educate your audience, you also show your expert knowledge. And as I said, we need to build trust with the audience, so you can really use that kind of content to show that you're a professional in the industry. You know what you're talking about. They can always come to you for even advice and not just to buy something. The more you interact with your audience, the more there is ways of you to potentially indirectly sell. And this is what I do on my Instagram. You wouldn't see directly selling posts by this or by that. I talk about jewelry. I show the beauty. And of course, you know, without feeling the pressure, people will start taking more and more interest, and eventually they purchase what they enjoy. Okay, so selling, informative, and also entertaining posts. Because as I said, lots of people come to Instagram just to seek some kind of entertainment to pass their time. So entertainment posts, they're focused on creating the number of responses in comments. Comments are paramount to Instagram Live. To make it lively, to show to your audience that there is life here, that people love it, they interact with my content. So it can be anything to make them engage with you. And the last type, which is super, super important, is personal presence. As I said, people don't buy on Instagram from just a brand. They know that at the end of that line, there is someone with the phone in their hands. So they want to know more about you. They want to know your personality, your inspirations, your experience. By personal presence, I don't encourage you to start sharing your breakfast in your Instagram feed. It's more about your personal but professional life. And believe me, I would love to know more about you guys as well. You know, when you design, what's your inspiration? How does design process go? What are the hardships in your career? What new are you working on? What's happening behind the scenes? There is so much to talk about when you just try to be you and when you just try to be authentic with your audience. And believe me, people can feel that on Instagram. Like, there's so many times I heard from my audience saying, we know you love jewelry, we know you're obsessed. We don't know why, like, or how we know that, but we can really feel it in what you do. And this makes me, you know, go and create more content and let's call it infect them with this love for jewelry. So you can do the same if you're being you and if you showcase your passion for jewelry. Okay. I've put here, communicate with your audience in comments. Like, there are so many times that I felt frustrated. I come to an Instagram account of a jewelry designer or a brand, and I can see people asking questions, or even if they put emoji, even if they put a few words, how beautiful it is, there is silence in response. Like, people took time to come and see what you create and engage with you. Show them love back, give them love back, and they will appreciate. And this will be the starting point of your bond and of your relationship. Instagram is there to help you build relationship. Okay. Now, motivate your audience to interact with your content. This is so, so important, interaction. What can you do to do that? In my opinion, what I've started doing more of, I don't know, those of you who follow, you probably have seen a few new types of posts which I've done, which are more related to my journey in jewelry. You can see they have different covers from other posts. Why did I do that? Because I want to create more emotional connection between me and my audience. I want them to get to know me better. And this case, interact with me as a person, not just someone like a model who shows jewelry. And frankly, that worked wonders. When I came to the fore again of my Instagram and started showing my personality and not just the jewels, I could feel how much response there is from people who know me already, for those who don't know me yet. But this is the goal which I had, is to create this bond and show more of me, of a real person. What else can we do? Of course, beautiful content. When people see beautiful photography and videography, they go, oh, wow, I love it, this is so gorgeous. You involuntarily want to leave that comment just to say a few words how beautiful something is. Even if it's emojis, it works. Instagram still counts, the algorithm of Instagram still counts it as a comment. And obviously, the more comments you have, the more interaction there is with your content, the better it is for algorithm. And the more Instagram values your account, thinking it's interesting for others. So apart from comments, we're looking to expand the number of people who share your content, the number of people who send your content to their friends or who save it in their favorites. Personal presence in your account, that's what I explained just now. questions in captions. This is one very simple trick. It doesn't mean you have to write a question in every post because it becomes repetitive, but when naturally you feel like engaging with your audience, do a question in your post every 5th or 6th post. That will be natural, that will be encouraging for the audience to interact with you. It shows that you are listening to them and you want to interact with them. That, of course, answer to your comments. Then, I don't know if you've seen, there is little notes you can add in your reels, in your posts, and also next to your avatar. It's a little detail, but it actually works because it's a small note for everyone out there, maybe where you are, what you're working on, and so on, and people interact with that element too. And then add content that evokes emotions. As I said, emotion is everything, not just with buying jewelry, but also with building strong community of your Instagram followers who you can potentially turn into a customer. Build trust and motivate for making a purchase with your content. How can you do that? And guys, we'll have a little questions in the end, so I have another slide, and then I'll show you some slides I want you to take pictures of because it will be your homework to go and think. I wrote you a number of questions which you need to evaluate and integrate in your account, and then I would love to answer your questions. But before that, okay, so post regularly. Why regularly? For me, attention to the times of posting and the number of posts a week translates into consistency, and consistency means reliability. Every time I'm here presenting about Instagram, people ask, so how many times do I need to post? Okay, I'm going to tell you now. For a jewelry company, a jewelry designer, 3-4 times a week, the least. Because what happens is, every time you do a new post, you have a flux of new audience. If you post once a week, the number of followers that unfollow you on every day, and this is normal, by the way, that you have unfollowing audience every day, there will be more people who unfollow than more people who follow. And this way, not only you won't grow your account, but Instagram will also see your account as not interesting because more people will unfollow you. So the more you post, I don't encourage you to do it every day like myself, but at least 3-4 times a week, please make it your habit. Also, post content that allows audience to make a purchase easily. The questions which I'm going to show you on the screen just in a minute, those who will help you to understand how can we make information accessible to the audience easily. If I want to buy, what I will be looking for? I want to know about what I'm seeing in the picture, right? Very often I see a post and no description of what the jewel is showcased whatsoever. So it's a good practice, even if you don't want to focus the post on the specific design, you can make maybe a little caption at the very end just to give information. For those who want to know about the jewel, here's what it is. Then people would want to know where to find you, where you're located, what's your return policy, how can I, even things, how can I measure my ring size to understand like if this ring fits me? How do I style your jewelry? One of the most common questions I learned from retail years, how do I wear this jewelry? Like, how do I combine it with what I have? How do I style it for a special occasion? You know, you guys are there also to give examples to your audience. And if you feel, as a jewelry designer, as a founder, if you feel shy or it's not appropriate for you to be a model to showcase the styling of your jewelry, get a model, someone in your company. Help people to understand and get inspiration of what they can wear your rings, earrings, and necklaces with. Or is there a way to stack your rings? Maybe there is ways to dress up and dress down your jewelry. So give them the inspiration before they ask for it. Then you can, of course, share client feedback, because that shows that there is so many people out there who already love your jewelry. And as I said, also things like celebrity placements or press mentions that also helps to elevate your brand and show and your designs and to show their value for the audience. When you share different events, and I hope you do that, it doesn't have to be a pop-up store or a presentation with the clients. It can be something you're working on or something you're attending, jewelry related. You're now at the exhibition. Use this opportunity to maybe find some stones and show your audience what you're hunting for. Maybe they'll see a stone they like and then they'll ask you to create a bespoke jewel with it. You never know. Bring them the beautiful world of jewelry. Then you can share selling content, which is easy, where people can find you, what you, Even the prices, actually. You know, there is always a debate. Shall we show the prices in the caption or not? You don't have to do it all the time, but occasionally, why not? Because frankly, on Instagram, sometimes we see something and we feel, oh my God, we can never afford it. And then in the end, the price is a very pleasant one. Okay, and now I would love for you to get your phones out and take pictures of the information I'll be showing. So you need to integrate necessary information in your account, everything to help people to find what they need. What would it be? How can people learn about your company, your designs? How can they contact you? Where do they see novelties? How can they find prices, return policy, delivery? Where is your physical location? For me, the first question always when I see a new company on the Instagram, where can I find you? I want to see your designs. I want to try on your jewelry. And very often there is no indication of location. Interact with your audience and bring them what they need to make a purchase. Here's a number of questions for you to answer. Okay. The next one, how do you make shopping on your Instagram easy? Normally, I train classes, so for how to sell jewelry on Instagram, I gave you such a quick presentation. Normally, they're 3-hour classes. And I even ran a course during COVID. I had a course for like 3 months, which broke down every element of Instagram to give you the working tools for how to sell. Here, I try to fit everything in half an hour. And sell in DMs. Direct messaging is the wonderful tool where you can engage with your audience and sell. And please make sure that you check it religiously a few times a day, because there is nothing worse than making your audience wait. I was once talking about emotions. I'll tell you the story and then you can ask questions. I buy jewelry very rarely. But as I was emphasizing, when your heart beats faster when you see something, first is the emotion that kicks in. You're like, I have to have it in my life. I can't live without it. So there was this one antique ring, which was created by Salvador Dali, and he's one of my favorite artists. And that ring wasn't a cheap one. It was historical. It was just gold, fashioned as angel's wings with 3 diamonds. If we talk about the value of material, it was a few thousand. But if we talk about the artistic value, it was, I don't remember, like 20,000. And it's a lot of money. But because I was so overwhelmed by its beauty and the significance for me, I'm like, okay, I want it. Like, I don't know, I'm going to have to sell my kidney, but I'm going to get it. So I contact the seller and I say, look, where can I get it? Like, where are you? Can I try it on? I wait 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. On the 3rd day, I get the answer. At that time, of course, my rational kicked in. Katerina, there's too much money. You need your kidney. Don't do this. When they replied, I was already contemplating, how can I get that money? Do I even need it? When I said, okay, let's arrange a meeting to try it on, where can we see each other? Another 3 days goes by before the reply. By those 6 days, I was already done with the ring. Unfortunately, I never got it. This is why I'm emphasizing how important it is to be reactive on Instagram, because it's run so much by emotion and the first impression that if people don't get a response from you within the first day, that's it, they'll go elsewhere. Plus, mind you, often they will send the same request to different jewelers on Instagram, and whoever answers first, whoever is most accommodating, whoever is most pleasant, they will get the sale. So Instagram, remember, Insta is all about being quick, instant, and very responsive. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you made notes of all the improvements you want to make. And I hope you got information out of this very quick talk, and you have a lot to work on when it comes to your Instagram. Thank you, thank you. We still actually have like 6 minutes, so if you guys have questions, please, I love the interactive part. Grill me, ask me any question about Instagram selling. I come from retail background. I spent 7 years selling jewelry to end consumers, so let's talk about it.
I was wondering, hi, yeah. Which is the best day to post? Like, is there a certain, Is there a certain day which is the best to post on Instagram, like Wednesday, Friday?
So the thing is, Instagram works differently for every person. So of course there are certain, I wouldn't say days, but times of the day. But there isn't one that fits all. So you have to check it on your Instagram analytics, it will tell you.
And you said 7 a.m., 5 p.m. or 7 p.m.?
So for me personally, it's 7 a.m., 1, 2 p.m. and 5.
Oh, yeah.
But again, this is something that I've learned through analytics of my Instagram and posting. And the more you post, the more you develop intuition. Like you know what works and when to post. So it becomes like that phone becomes an extension of your hand.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Emilia. You mentioned that you can change your bio once a month. If you change it once a month, doesn't it affect your followers? Because I've heard something about Instagram that if you change it too often, they catch it.
No, first of all, you don't have to do it once a month. You can do it every 3 months or whenever you have the important thing to say that should attract attention. But otherwise, no, I don't think that it will affect. We're talking about not handle, but actual bio, and it's there to be changed. So no, I don't think it will affect anything.
Hi, Katerina, how are you?
Hi.
So happy to see you. Thank you for your amazing presentation. I have a question concerning what is your advice concerning Insta Live Reel in Instagram, because it's what we know, it's also very important to catch audience. And I would like also to ask you about TikTok, if I can, because in Paris, for example, during the Fashion Week, you know that the front row now is a lot of TikToker. So I would like to have your advice on that. Thank you.
Okay, so with the first question, Instagram Live, it's great to connect with your audience. But frankly, people don't take any more time of their day to sit and watch your live. They will tune in for a couple of minutes. If the subject is super interesting, yes, they'll stay there. Personally, I shifted more towards webinars because it takes so much time to prepare. Well, at least for me, because I don't do just like la la la, I do specific subjects and I prepare. So I do webinars because I want people to take their time and really get into the subject. But again, for quick Instagram live, to create that stronger bond or to pass a very important message, it works. In the past, there was a separate part of Instagram where those lives could be kept. Now it's together with all the videos. So, I mean, it's good to do it from time to time, but it's not going to give a lot of result, honestly. Reels, on the contrary, is must, okay? If, say, 6 months ago, for the last 2-3 years, Reels were the key, and Instagram was trying to push Reels more. Nowadays, Reels are equally important to carousels and to even single photo posts. So they make it super easy to explain more about your jewelry, especially when it comes to styling, for example, or any educational content. Also, it gives you a great tool for creativity and for showcasing your personal style. But again, it's best not to have only reels. It can be 5 reels in 1 post, or 5 reels, 5 posts, something like this. It has to be a variety. Because, you know, different people consume information differently. A lot of my audience says, ooh, for us it's overwhelming. There's too much happening in a video. We want to zoom in. In a reel you can't zoom in. In a picture you can really zoom in to see the details of jewelry. So you have to be mindful that different people consume information in a different way. And regarding TikTok, so for fashion, yes, but for jewelry, you can be there, but you have to communicate differently on TikTok, because you can't come to Instagram and do the things just the way you want. You have to adapt to the platform, to the rules of the platform, to the way people interact on that platform. So you have to change the behavior on on TikTok.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for the great presentation. It was amazing. I would like to ask for a sharing of your presentation, maybe.
We have to ask another. I'll be very happy to share. Look, I want you guys all to succeed. So if there is a way.
All the talks are on YouTube, so they're being live streamed and they will be and stay on YouTube. So you're welcome to check there.
Perfect. We have 40 seconds. One last question. I can talk about Instagram for days. I mean, it's my favorite subject. I've been on Instagram for 12 years. I love it. So Hi.
Hi, Katerina. So I just want to ask, what is more important, to post story also every day or just posts or reels?
So, this is a good question because both are equally important. And I tell you that there is audience who likes to have stories more, to look at stories more than posts. And especially for you guys, you can't post every day because for jewelry, there is only a certain number of content you can create and share in the feed. But in stories, you can be more you, more real, more engaging, more interesting. You can show a variety of themes. So it's a good idea. So if you stick to this rule of posting, say 3 times a week or 4 times a week, then in stories, you need to do a story a day. And frankly, what I've noticed, if you do a single story, it will get much more engagement and result than if you do a series of stories. So that's a little thing for you to implement. If you share a single story a day and wait till it expires before you share the next one, you will get 3-4 times more people viewing it than if you share 3 stories at once. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I hope. This is my observation in the last few months.
Thank you.
Hello.
Very last question, yeah.
Hi. Sorry, lovely presentation. Thank
Hello.
you. I was wondering for a brand who's, for example, just starting out, just starting to build presence on Instagram, what's your opinion on consistent posting versus Instagram ads?
Instagram ads. Once you get in there, you can't escape. Honestly, it's a great tool, but Instagram kind of gets you in there and you have to continue with Instagram ads after. Like, it's not even, I think maybe it's a more psychological thing because you also get results from Instagram ads. And then when you don't promote your jewelry anymore, you see that there's less engagement. Generally, obviously, because you don't pay. So you feel like, oh my God, I need to pay again. But when you're starting out, don't start with Instagram ads just yet. Try to work it organically, word of mouth, engage with the audience first before they come to see you. Look for that potential client because guys, honestly, you have such amazing tool. When I was working in retail, we were working off client books. Now, on the palm of my hand, I can see a variety of audience out there. I can go and see who is there, who loves jewelry. And if I was working in retail now, I would feel comfortable approaching those people, starting conversation with them because Instagram there is to build a conversation and relationship. So try to work it organically, showcase your designs in different ways, showcase your personality, behind the scenes, all different aspects of your business. And only after a few months, if you see nothing is working, then you can try a little bit of advertisement, slowly.
If you would like to have a PDF.
All right, so, 2 minutes over the schedule. Thank you so much, guys. It was a great pleasure for me to see so many of you here, and I hope you got some useful information. Thank you.
You want to have a headset or a mic? Okay.